welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. We are very excited today to be here to be talking about the best of non-Hallmark Christmas 2020. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner. I'm joined by my friend Michelle Benson is here.
Hi everyone.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Excited to talk about these movies.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun. So, how has your Christmas season been, and how do you think the Christmas movie watching season went? How do you think they did?
I think Hallmark won for me
Uh
personally.
huh.
Um, and Lifetime was a bit of a letdown.
Uh huh.
I think kind of their acquisitions were a bit of a letdown. And there's a few that I was really excited for, like the Melissa Joan Hart one, and a few others that kind of disappointed. But the ones that were good were really good,
Hmm.
and I thought Netflix done fantastic. Um, but yeah, overall, I mean, I watched most of Hallmark. We've still got a few premieres to come in the UK,
Uh huh.
so we're a little bit behind. So I've got a few to watch on that, but pretty much everything non-Hallmark, I was able to watch everything that I wanted to watch, which was good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say I agree. I think that I felt like Lifetime kind of put all of their eggs in their diversity releases. Like
Yeah,
those three were a lot stronger than anything else they put
yeah,
out,
yeah,
and and I think that the acquisitions that they got were not the best. I mean, I know that they were making the best out of a, tough situation, and it should
yeah. I mean,
definitely.
it's incredible that they got all those movies. I mean, that should be applauded, whatever the sort of quality.
Mhm.
They gave people entertainment for weeks, which
Yeah.
is remarkable.
Yeah, it's incredible that I ended up watching, including Dash and Lily. I watched 110 uh Christmas Christmas movies and shows, which
Oh, geez.
is just amazing in 2020. To be able to do that is pretty incredible. And
Yeah.
did you get a chance to watch Dash and Lily?
I did, yeah, yeah. I kind of watched all in over. Work was a bit stressful, so I was able to kind of dish out maybe 2 episodes a night, which was great.
Uh-huh.
And I loved it. I mean, the
Yeah,
soundtrack was
so
amazing. I
good.
thought it was actually a lot better than the book. I think
Oh.
they really kind of elevated the source material.
Uh-huh.
They kind of fit like stereotypes in the book for me. Like
Oh.
Lily was very kind of manic pixie, and Dash was kind of a lot. I don't know. It was just much more accessible on the TV show. I don't know if maybe that's just
Uh-huh.
down to the actor,
Yeah.
but yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
Did you include that in your ranking?
I didn't. It was an honorable
Okay.
mention. I've got
Uh
a couple of honorable mentions, and
okay.
that was one.
If I had included it, I would have it pretty high. I would probably
Yeah.
have it maybe even number 2. I mean, I'd have it
Okay.
I really enjoyed it in this
Yeah.
non-Hallmark Christmas movie, but because it's a series, I kind of just left it as its own thing. It's just so hard to
Yeah.
compare a series to a feature film, but
Yeah.
it was really good. I really enjoyed talking about it with Austin Burke here on the channel, here on the
Uh huh.
podcast. So if people are interested, you should check that out. We can put a link in the description. But yeah, I mean, I have a pretty eclectic list of different, but not everything on my list would necessarily be classified as a movie. Some of it's more of a special, but
Yeah. I
it's
think that's good.
my favorite of this season. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was definitely exhausting, but also really fun. And
That's good.
yeah, I some honorable mentions for me. I had Lego Star Wars Holiday Special. I thought that was really fun, and it was just probably the most just joyous thing that we've gotten from Star Wars in a long time. That was just about fun, and that's it. Like it was just happy and made me laugh, and so that
Yeah.
is an honorable mention for me. Also, Midnight at the Magnolia was an honorable
Mhm.
mention for me. I love Natalie Hall in it. I thought she was really cute, and I liked the story, and the pretending to be in a relationship is always a win for me. So that was, and I had that was not on my radar at all. We didn't preview it, so it was kind of a pleasant surprise. And then I also have, as an honorable mention, the Alien Xmas on Netflix, which was a really cute little animated short about an alien who he's a kleptomaniac and he has to learn to not steal, and it was cute. And so that's some of my honorable mentions. But did you have anything else that almost made your list?
Yeah, well, Dash and Lily,
Hmm.
and then Home for Christmas, which I haven't finished, so I didn't put it on my list. The second season just came out, and I haven't been able to dive into that yet. But I binged the first season of that, and I absolutely loved it.
Oh,
It's so unique and different. Obviously, it's not Hallmark friendly. It's a bit more adult, but I think they managed to do. Had a nice blend of making it very Christmassy, very funny, and have a really great love story throughout it.
and is that a German show or is it in
Uh,
English?
no, no, it's subtitled, so you'd have to watch it with subtitles.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I know.
Um,
I thought about watching that, but I just didn't have time with it
yeah,
being two seasons. I'm like,
yeah,
but maybe in
yeah. It's
January.
really great concept because let's say the whole thing is she's said that bringing someone to Christmas dinner, and we don't know who it is, and so she has to kind of find someone, and they introduce these men kind of throughout the episodes, and throughout you just don't know how it's going to end up, and I
Uh
thought they'd
huh.
done a fantastic job with having all these different guys. Some of them you just think, oh God, absolutely not, and then later in the season they kind of redeem themselves,
Uh huh.
and so you're thinking, oh well, maybe. So they've done a fantastic job. Absolutely loved it. I can't wait to
Yeah.
get second season done. And then the other honorable mention would be Lost at Christmas, which I think is coming out in the US next year. I think it's getting a
Oh,
release
okay.
next year.
Uh
I
huh.
think obviously with the pandemic it kind of ruined the release and everything of it.
Yeah.
So this is the Scottish Christmas rom-com. I'm not sure. I should have written down the names of the actors, but it's basically about two people that get dumped just before Christmas,
Mhm.
um, and have to find their way home. They're in Glencoe, which is a village in the Highlands of Scotland, and they have to get home throughout a snowstorm, and sort of hijinks ensue. It's a bit more serious than what I was prepared for going into it. I was expecting rom-com and I got something a bit more serious, and I think I was a bit kind of like, oh, I kind of wanted a cheesy TV movie. Um, and it is low budget and that does come through, but I think what they were able to do, if you can judge it on that, I think you'll enjoy it.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of got to something that I think a lot of people feel at this time of year, which is there's a lot of pressure on this time of year, and there's a lot of loneliness at this time of year for a lot of people, and it really explored that. And I think if I was in the mood for that, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more than I did.
Mm.
But yeah, definitely look out for it next year. And then lastly, my saving grace of this year has been Call the Midwife. I've absolutely loved Call the Midwife this
Mm.
year. I started it. It's been on for like a decade, and I've only started it this year. My mum's watched it for years, and the best thing about Call the Midwife is every year you get a Christmas special. So I've had 10 to watch. So you kind of binge the whole season, and then at the end you get a Christmas special. So it's like a nice little reward.
Mhm.
Some are more Christmassy than others,
Yeah, kind of
but
like Doctor Who.
yeah, some are. When they had kind of one where they went to, it was set after just after Christmas, and they went to Africa to do missionary work. So that didn't feel as Christmassy, but the message is still there.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just loved the show this year. So yeah, that's kind of my all of my honorable mentions.
Cool. Very good. All right. Well, let's dive into our list. We have our top 10 list. And my number 10 is The Christmas Aunt with Keisha Knight Pulliam. And I thought that it's definitely her best movie, that's for sure.
Mhm.
And I thought that it kind of did the aunt having to take care of the kids over Christmas pretty well. It was cute, the whole 12 days of Christmas thing, and she's trying to give them a really nice Christmas. But then the relationship between her and this guy from high school was pretty, I think, well done. And they have the like mini dance, which was cute that the kids had set up. And I don't know, I liked the little relationship between her mom and this the guy who comes to book club. That was cute. And overall, I thought it was way better than I expected, so may have gotten some bonus points for that.
My number 10 is Midnight at the Magnolia.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you already talked about it, and I echo everything.
Mhm.
Um, I've not seen many of the New Year Hallmark movies, so this was
Mm,
kind of a new territory for me.
yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. I think this is like such a weird time of year because Christmas is over, but not really. Like
Mhm.
the decorations are everywhere, and we're still kind of in this weird situation where everything is on pause. So I
Yeah.
think it's a really interesting time to explore. I will
Mhm.
say the trailer kind of ruined it for me. It was like a super cut of the movie. So
Oh,
if
I
you
hate
haven't seen it
that.
yet, don't watch the trailer. But yeah, I really liked it. It's kind of my favorite trope of the best friends to lovers thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. And Natalie Hall, she is just
Oh, so
such a
great. So,
delightful
oh
actress.
my God, yeah.
Yeah,
Better than everything.
she's so positive and she's so
Uh-huh.
cute, and she's just such a good fit for these kind of films, I think.
Mm.
And she had a great year. I mean, because she had this, and then she had a Lifetime movie plus You're Baking Me Crazy, which was a pretty big hit over at Hallmark. So I hope they keep using her because I really like her. In fact, we are going to be having our for our patrons, we're going to be having our next patron watch along, where we have our first actor joining us for the watch along, and we're going to have Natalie Hall join us
Oh,
for
that's exciting.
for the patron watch along. We're going to be watching Winter Princess, her Winterfest movie from last year in 2019, which is a lot of fun. And I feel like it's going to be a perfect movie for us to have because we interviewed so much of that cast. And so I feel like I maybe even have something to kind of talk about a little bit because had Brendan Zub in it, Casey Manderson's in it, of course Natalie Hall, and I don't know, a bunch. I feel like there's even more that I can't think off the top of my head. But anyway, it's going to be a fun one to watch. And Chris McNally, that's the other if we've interviewed. So anyway, if you've been on the fence about becoming a patron, hashtag cheap plug. Now's the chance. You should. It's really fun. But yeah, good choice. I really enjoyed that one, and I even liked the music, which a lot of times it's not great. Did you get to see the Christmas Ant?
I didn't. I didn't. What
Oh, okay.
network was it on?
Uh-huh. It was on
What network?
Lifetime. It was on Lifetime.
Lifetime. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it'll probably come here.
Yeah.
Hopefully this week at some point. I'll have a look for it.
Mm.
There was a
I
struggle getting the Lifetime movies this year for me.
Oh, really? Yeah, I Amy liked it a lot too. I think it was definitely better uh than a lot of their other offerings. That's for sure. So, all right, well, let's talk about my number 9 is my pick from Ion Channel, and it was called The Christmas Sitters. And this is another story of the uh, aunts, in this case, aunt and uncle that are being asked to take care of these teenagers, these kids for the holidays. And you have on one side the somewhat neurotic lawyer who's all into planning and everything, and then you have the super laid back, casual, spontaneous guy who's their uncle, and of course that clashes. And this was really pleasant. I really enjoyed it. I thought that the two leads had nice chemistry, and I liked the fact that this was obviously filmed late into the season because they go to a ski resort at one point, and so it wasn't some of the same things that you see all the time. And it was again better, way better than I expected it to be. They obviously have a small budget, but I liked the two leads quite a bit, and I enjoyed it.
I haven't seen this one.
Yeah. So what do you have at number 9?
My number 9 is A Welcome Home Christmas. Um,
Mhm.
I will be honest, I watched this so early in the season, it's kind of faded a little bit,
Yeah.
but I remember feeling like it had a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Um, and I loved the fact that Brandon Quinn kind of got his kind of leading
Oh,
man role. So
yeah.
well deserved. And pretty much anything with a One Tree Hill cast member, like it's an automatic top 10 for me. Even though she played a character that I didn't like on One Tree Hill, I'll give her a pass.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I did feel like there was maybe a couple of like things where you could kind of see the COVID restrictions on screen a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Whether how far they were kind of standing apart. I don't know if that was maybe I was just reading into it and
Yeah.
looking for it pretty much early on. But yeah, I remember just really loving this one.
Yeah, that's my number 8 actually. And
Yeah,
yeah, I agree that this really did have something for everyone. It had the military reunification, it had military dog reunification, it had Christmas magic, it had Santa,
yeah.
it
Oh God,
had
yeah, it did have the Santa.
the real
I forgot
Santa's
about that.
there. And I liked the two leads, as you said, Jana Kramer, Brandon Quinn. It even had them both singing, which was fun. And she can actually
Yeah.
sing because she's like a real singer. She's actually made albums.
Oh, has she?
Yeah,
I didn't
she
even know
has.
that.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, he was very dreamy in it. Very fun. And I also liked her, I think it was her mother who was,
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah,
she was very
the
quirky.
yeah, there was the, I think, hot cocoa competition. If I'm getting my movies confused, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure that there's a
I
hot
think you're
cocoa
right.
competition. Yeah, hot cocoa competition. That's right. Because Tim Reed was the judge of the hot cocoa competition, and the mom was just like so obsessed with it. It was funny to me. And so yeah, that was a good one. Again, I have it at 8. I did enjoy it. So yeah, Brian Herslinger, I think is such a great director at these Christmas rom-coms. He's got it down.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Twinkle All the Way, so good.
Oh,
And,
yes.
yeah, Christmas movie Christmas. So all right, well, what do you have at 8 then?
I had Operation Christmas Drop at number 8.
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried going into this because I wasn't the biggest fan of the Safari one last year.
Oh,
And
okay.
these ones where they kind of take it out of kind of a winter setting, it's always kind of a worry for me.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like they've done a really good job of making this feel very Christmassy, despite it being in a kind of desert setting.
Yeah.
And Alexander Ludwig is I don't know if I feel like this year I saw him in Bad Boys 3, which wasn't a great movie, but he was very funny in it. Um, and I watched him in Vikings, and that's such a violent, intense show. It's just kind of taken me aback this year how good he is at like these romantic roles, these comedic roles. I hope he does more things like this. And obviously, Cat Graham is wonderful and
Yeah.
sort of redeemed herself from the one last year that I wasn't a big fan of. I think this
The
kind of showed how good she
yeah.
can be in these films.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. It was nice the change of setting when they had the
Yeah,
dance and they have this coconut flakes as the
that was cute.
snow. That was really cute. And it's cool too that this is like a real thing that actually still happens and is still going on.
Yeah, yeah.
That was cool. And so yeah, I have it in my top 20, and so I did enjoy it. It was fun. So all right, well, my number 7 is The Princess Switched again that
I
I
just
have.
watched this today.
Oh, you did?
I did.
I really enjoyed it. It's obviously ridiculous, but it knows it is. It leans into it. I mean, I Vanessa Hudgens with her Cruella Deville performance as the as the cousin or whatever, the third lookalike, I thought was really funny and ridiculous, over the top. I really like all of the relationships are swoon worthy and they give those swoon worthy moments that we like, especially with the man candy in the movie. it's not a movie that's taking itself seriously at all. It knows that it's silly. It has fun with it. I had fun with it. And yeah, so it was number 7 for me. So what do you have at number 7?
Now number 7 is Dolly Parton's Christmas on the Square. Um,
Oh,
okay, I know this isn't good, okay, but I loved it. It made
yeah,
me smile, and that's the most important thing.
sure.
Like, it was so cheap looking. It was, I was so convinced that Dolly wasn't even on set. I was like, did they just like hologram her in because she just had this like glow around her the entire time? Oh, yeah, it felt like Mamma Mia, where she'd wrote a bunch of songs, and it's like, right, how do we fit like a plot around these songs that have nothing in common with each other and nothing like it was so crazy. Um, but yeah, it made me smile. Like I had a smile on my face beginning to end.
Yeah.
I love Janine Mason, even though she didn't dance. I can forgive that. And Christine Baranski's always fun. Jennifer Lewis always fun. For me, I
Uh,
think that the winner of this was the songs. Like when you watch a musical, the one thing you want to come away with is like immediately going to Spotify to try and find the songs.
uh-huh.
And I feel like that's where Jingle Jangle kind of lost me. I
Uh-huh.
thought that looked amazing and the choreography and the
I
cast was
know.
incredible, but I didn't like the songs, and that was kind of the thing with. I mean, it's Dolly, so of course she's an incredible songwriter. Um, and I came away from this just absolutely loving the songs, and they were it was kind of frustrating that they aren't on Spotify, so I was having to rewind the movie a lot. But yeah, I love this one. As
Yeah,
crazy as it is.
the the songs were definitely the best part.
Yeah,
I mean, she's an incredible songwriter that a lot of people don't realize how great a songwriter she is.
yeah,
And things like I will always love you and that's such an iconic song, people don't realize that she wrote it. And so Dolly's the best. I
uh-huh,
struggled with the adoption plot line. I just thought,
yeah.
like, why are they taking this woman's baby? Like, what is
Yeah.
happening?
It felt like they'd kind of had these kind of like old timey parts. Like it's like when is this
Uh-huh.
movie set? Is it modern day? Is it old time? When, what's happening? It kind of felt a little bit all over the place in that sense. And I did listen
Uh-huh.
to your review, and I absolutely agree that that was very inconsistent and not handled well.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I think I said in our review that you feel like you're like uh you're hurting kittens or something like that when you because
Yeah, yeah,
it's such a sweet, obviously well-meaning production that
yeah,
to criticize it feels you feel bad,
yeah.
but yeah, I can see why it made your list. So and I agree with you with about Jingle Jangle. I did give it a mild recommendation because the production value and I didn't mind the songs. I liked the musical sequences, but I
Oh yeah,
agree
yeah,
that the story was not great and
yeah.
it should have been much much better. So it's too bad. That would be a disappointment even though I did give it a mild recommendation. So at number 6 for me, I have The Forgotten Carols, and this is something that is probably more well known here in Utah where I live. It's
Mhm.
a maybe a regional favorite. Is this that started out in the 90s as this album that had a book that you bought along with the album, and the idea is it
Okay.
was all the different people, the forgotten carols of the scriptures, but then also other people, and then it kind of morphed into a musical. And there's a stage version. It was sort of like a one man play, and then it merged into a bigger stage production, and so they actually filmed a a production of the Forgotten Carols and released it kind of all like Hamilton type of thing. So this is a
Mhm.
filmed play, and I really like the music. I think it's really good, and it was just nice to have one thing this year out of all of these things that I saw that was actually about Jesus and actually about the actual Christmas story,
Mhm.
and done well, and that was refreshing to me. And I have nostalgia for the show. It's something I grew up with, But we showed it to Carrie, our co-host on the podcast, and she didn't grow up with it. She really liked it. So I think if you're Christian and you want to see something that is more faith-based for the holiday
Mhm.
season, then this is a really good option. And they filmed it well. It as well as you can as far as this filmed play. And I it was really cool to get to interview Michael McLean, who's the composer. And we did on Christmas Day, we posted an episode with Carrie and Cammy talking all about it, and so that turned out really fun. And I don't know, I really like it, the idea of like there's a carol that is done by Joseph. There's a carol by the innkeeper. There's a carol, so there's sort of these forgotten characters of the Christmas story, and I think it's really good. And so it ended up at number 6 for me.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah. And you can get it on DVD and or streaming. If you just look up the Forgotten Carols online, you can find it. But what did you have at number 6?
And number 6, and I just watched this today as well, is A Sugar and Spice Holiday.
Ah,
Um, yeah, I love this. I'm not familiar with any of the cast other
yeah.
than the grandpa, which I've seen. Feel like I've seen him in everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I love this. I love that it was obviously another kind of tick in the diversity box, that they should have had something like this a long time ago, and I hope that this continues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I loved that it was kind of a baking thing, and it was her getting the promotion, but neither of those things kind of overtook the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt like it was very kind of even throughout.
Yeah.
And I actually really liked the way that they handled the baking thing, that they actually lost
Right.
and had to come back. That was really interesting.
Yeah.
And I love the resolution of her getting the promotion and him saying, "Okay, well, I'll go with you." And it's like, oh my god, like, yes, why can't he do
Yeah.
this
It
in
was
all
so
these movies?
cute.
But yeah, he was so charming and funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love this one. This will live on my TV forever, I think.
Yeah. It got a spot in the DVR.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%.
Yeah, that is my number 5, Sugar and Spice Holiday. I loved this so much. I thought that it was so funny. When she is
Mhm.
comparing everybody to different snacks,
Oh, that
that
was
made
so
me
good.
laugh.
Little animation.
Yeah, that was so good. And I loved all the things that you said. I loved any time that her Nima came on screen. That really made me emotional because my grandmas both died last year, passed away last year
Mm.
in 2019. And so the special bond between her and her Nima was just so sweet. I really enjoyed that. And I thought her mother was hilarious when she introduces her as the woman with the wide hips.
It's just so funny when he liked her food, and she's like, "Oh, I've always said you were a nice boy."
Yeah. And it's like Americans with their food court kung pao. It was really funny. It was a very good
Oh, it's
script,
so good.
and I agree about the chemistry. That was really good. And I like that they had a moment of true vulnerability for the character where she feels like a real
Mhm.
failure. She hasn't gotten the job, she lost the competition. And yeah, it was
Yeah.
resolved fairly quickly, but not that many of these kind of movies go there. And
No.
I appreciated that, and I felt it, and it was just delightful. I loved it too. So yeah, that is my number 5. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Christmas Ever After.
Uh-huh.
Again, this will just live on my TV forever.
Yeah.
Um, like Ali Stoker's energy in this is
Oh,
like pitch perfect. Like it's so easy to go over the top or feel like the actors just are in it for like the paycheck or whatever.
yeah.
It's so easy to go one way or the other, and she is just perfect.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that she kind of goes to this place, and it's kind of got like a found family kind of vibe to
Yeah.
it. And that she's completely fine being on her own at this time of year. She's really confident in herself and her choices. Yeah, I just absolutely loved it, and I'm not familiar with this actor. Is it Daniel
Yeah.
Di
Deeds
Tommaso
Moss.
or
Yeah.
something? Yeah. No,
he was really
So
good.
good. I want to see him. Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
so good. And I love the fact that they didn't make her being in a wheelchair a thing. I mean, we
Yeah.
all know, we all know people in chairs. My mum's in a chair. Like,
Mhm.
it's just such a part of people's lives.
Right.
Um, and it felt so kind of authentic, and
Mhm.
um, yeah, it just was absolutely fantastic,
Yeah.
and natural on screen. Wasn't kind of highlighting anything or pointing anything out.
Mhm. Yeah, I loved that too. It was so good. I thought I thought that it was just such a funny premise, and I I we'll see. I have it coming up, but all right. Well, my number 4 is the Christmas setup, and this
That's
was
my number
just.
four.
Oh, really? Okay, good. Yeah, I loved the 2 leads. They're a married couple in real life, and
Mhm.
you could feel the chemistry. I thought that they had so many cute moments. Their meet cute, the date it was so cute. The watching the the lights, the northern lights.
Right.
Fran, I mean, incredible, perfect casting. She was so funny. I've been dying for her to be in one of these movies, so I was so excited to see her, and I thought she did a really good job, and I liked the relationship between the 2 brothers. I loved that going back to the past and remembering the past was just really well done. Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. We've seen so many of these movies with like a real life couple, and just because they're married and have amazing
Yeah.
chemistry doesn't mean it's going to show up on screen. But these two, like, it's particularly like the way Blake was looking at Ben throughout the entire movie. It was like, oh
Mhm.
my god, it was like heart eyes on screen.
Yeah.
It
It
was so
was.
good.
Yeah.
It was so so good. And I loved the fact that they had this kind of mystery throughout it of the owner of the, is it the
Yeah.
train station? Was it a
Mhm.
little train house or whatever it was?
Yeah.
Like, we've seen so many of these, like the Hallmark movies where they have the kind of mystery throughout, and it kind
Uh-huh.
of takes over the whole thing, and it's often a very boring like
Yeah.
series of events to get to the actual story, and it's like it's so drawn out that you're like, okay, I can kind of see where it's going before it's even finished.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it was kind of peppered throughout. It tied back in to their story, and kind of bookended with the picture of them kind of echoing the picture of the owner
Yeah.
and his like partner. So
That
good.
was so cute. Yeah, almost all those mysteries did not work for me this season.
Oh
Whether it was
yeah, yeah.
a bracelet, a ring,
Oh my god, the ring one.
letter, or a photo, or something like that. I mean, it made me realize how good Signed Sealed Delivered is because they managed to do those same plots but make it
Yeah,
personal and really affecting, and they managed to do it in a shorter amount of time. And I it made me realize I'm like, oh, Martha's really good. Martha Williamson, who writes those, is just really good at her job because there were so many bad ones this time. But yeah, the Christmas setup was
yeah,
just
and the brother
really good.
relationship is so good.
Yeah, I loved that, and
Yeah.
I liked her. I liked their friend,
Mhm.
friend Maddie. She was really good. I know. I just loved it. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. So my number 3 is a special, and it is the
Mhm.
Christmas Spectacular with the Rockettes, the Radio City Music Hall Christmas Spectacular with the Rockettes. This is available on the Peacock Network if people have that, and I love the Rockettes. I I have a lot of nostalgia for them. I had a very close relationship with my grandmother. My grandmother loved the Rockettes, and uh, one year in 2000, I was able to convince my grandma with my cousin. My cousin and I were able to convince my grandma to take us to New York City for Christmas, and the whole reason that we were able to go was that we we were like, we'll go see the Rockettes. She was like, oh, I want to see the Rockettes. She loved the Rockettes, and so we went to the Christmas Spectacular, and it's such a fun show because they really do have everything you could ever want for Christmas. They have dancing Santas, of course, the Rockettes. They have and they have a full live nativity, and you got to see all of that in this special. Plus, they had all these testimonials of different people who had had a tradition of seeing the Rockettes and seeing the going to Radio City Music Hall in the holidays. The people like John Legend and things like that, kind of talking about their experiences, and that was really nice. And in just a year where Broadway's closed, they're not doing the show. It 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 warmed my heart to see this, and I I just it made me feel closer to my grandma, and and my cousin has passed on too, actually, and so to get to watch this, it made me cry. So
Oh, that's lovely.
yeah, so I loved it. But what do you have at 3?
So my number three is Holiday. Um,
Oh, yeah.
and yeah, it I kind of moved this around a lot in my top 10, but I think it's for me it was just this humor just isn't for everybody, but
Mhm.
for me I do appreciate a dark sense of humor, so it kind
Uh-huh.
of worked for me, and I love Emma Roberts, so
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's sort of like it's kind of I don't know if I would go back and watch it a lot, but for when I did watch it, which was kind of after a marathon of Hallmark movies, this was
Yeah.
kind of like a nice thing to break up the monotony of that.
Mhm.
And I love the cast. It was lovely seeing like, Jessica Capshaw. Is one of my favourite people in Grey's Anatomy, and I haven't
Uh-huh.
seen her in anything since she left Grey's. So
Mhm.
that was really lovely. I will say the lead guy has kind of not worked for me in a lot of things.
Mhm.
Luke Bracey, he's an
Yeah.
Australian actor. I've kind of he was in a Australian soap which is big in the UK, Home and Away. So I
Mm.
kind of remember him from that. But he's kind of always been one of these actors that seems older than his leading lady, even though he's not. I don't know what it is about him. He just seems a little bit older and more mature. Maybe it's because I've watched Emma Roberts grow up and she feels a bit younger than what she
Oh,
is.
yeah.
But yeah, the only thing that didn't work for me in this was the sort of Kristen Chenoweth kind of
Mhm.
repeating joke. I feel like they'd done that one too many times.
Mhm.
And that was kind of the thing that made me kind of cringe. But the rest, it got quite a few laughs out of me, and that's the main thing, I suppose.
Yeah, I know Dory really liked it too, and she found it really funny. I
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, that's the hard part about comedies is that it's like
yeah,
the most subjective. I do think they hurt
yeah,
themselves, at least for me, with their trailer, and they should have made it more clear that
mhm,
they should have been a red band trailer, in my opinion, because it's one thing to have that kind of raunchy content, but I don't know. I just feel like if it had been less of a shock to me, because that was not what I thought I was getting. And
mhm,
I even did a trailer reaction on my channel. And so it was, I think if they had kind of prepared me for that, that might have helped a little bit. But
yeah,
yeah, it just didn't make me laugh that much. But again, that's super subjective. So I could see why you enjoyed it.
yeah. And I think they might have got a more wider audience have they been a bit more upfront about that.
Yeah,
Because it has been a movie that I've been telling people to watch, and they're like, "Well, I don't want to watch like a cheesy Christmas movie." And I'm like, "It's not
right.
that." Like, say, Red Bandit is more like kind of dark
Yeah,
humor, black
yeah.
humor. So yeah,
Yeah, I think it would have been much better if they'd done a red band trailer
yeah.
for that. But oh well. All right. Well, my number two is the animated short Angela's Christmas Wish. And I loved the original Angela's Christmas. I thought that that was so good that year. And I love animated shorts. I love animation. And it's such a part of Christmas is animated shorts. And I loved the whole kind of problem of them trying to figure out they're trying to get to their father who's in Australia, who's working there, and they try even like digging a hole to a path to Australia from Ireland. It was really cute, and uh, they I thought the emotional moment really pays off and really got me, and I thought it worked really well. It was very sweet. I love the animation. And so for me, it had to be number 2.
Yeah, I've still got these on my list, my Netflix
Uh-huh.
list, so I'll have to sit down and watch them.
Yeah, I loved the first one. It's so cute about Angela. She sees the baby Jesus in the church and is worried about it being too cold in the church, so she steals the baby Jesus and to make him a sweater. It's really cute. And so, what do you have at number 2?
My number two is Roald and Beatrix, the tale of the
Mhm.
okay, it's got like a long title, but essentially it's Roald and Beatrix. It's a Sky TV production in the UK. I'm not sure if
Uh,
it's aired in the US.
yeah, I haven't. I heard about it, and maybe it was even from your Twitter. I heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so this is about a 6-year-old Roald Dahl who goes on an adventure to meet up with Beatrix Potter, who's kind of at the end of her career,
Uh huh.
played by Dawn French. So this is just like a really sweet, uplifting, magical story. Like it's
Mhm.
nothing big or it's just really, really sweet. It's got a nice message. And if you're a fan of Roald Dahl or Beatrix Potter, it's got a lot of
Hmm.
things kind of throughout it that you would absolutely Rachel, you would absolutely love it because it does have like a lot of like stop motion animation and
Ooh.
like puppetry as Roald Dahl's kind of going on his adventure and he's kind of seeing things that will become inspirations for like Fantastic Mr. Fox or the
Oh,
Witches.
that sounds
Um,
so good.
yeah, and I didn't grow up with Beatrix Potter, but there's so much in this that even just like her her drawings that I absolutely love, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
that in here. And obviously with it being Dawn French, like she's so good, and she
I
brings a
didn't
lot of like
realize it was a holiday film.
yeah, so it's set just over Christmas. So
Mm.
like the entire way through it, she's like trying to hunt down the goose for the Christmas dinner, and she's giving the goose a name,
Uh-huh.
and it's like she's not actually going to to take him down for a Christmas dinner. Like it's kind of like a running joke throughout the entire thing, but yeah, it's so
Uh-huh.
sweet. It was just such a nice thing to sit down and watch over Christmas. But
Yeah.
yeah, I hope you get to see it, Rachel.
Yeah, I definitely will have it very high on the list. I'll look into that because that sounds really good. So all right. Well, my number one favorite non-Hallmark Christmas movie 2020 was Christmas Ever After. I
Yeah,
loved Allie in this. I thought that she was
it
so
is.
charming. I loved the story. The premise was so funny with her freaking out. This guy looks exactly like the hero from her books. Was really funny, and I also I just liked the innkeeper. He was really good and very charming and funny. And he's like he's when he was hurting he got hurt on his leg, and it's like you miss all the jumps you don't take, and I don't know, I just thought he was charming. I thought that the dialogue was very well done, and little things like when they get locked into the hotel room
Oh,
together
that
and
was the
they're
best.
talking, that was such a fun scene and so funny,
Yeah,
and them singing I thought was great with the Coventry Carol. Getting to hear Ali sing was really great. I just loved it. I thought it was
yeah,
so fun,
yeah.
and so it's
And they
my number.
handled the thing with him being the guy on the cover that you knew
Yeah,
when they said that his wife is the artist, you're like, oh, okay, well,
yeah.
obviously she did that. She like painted those pictures.
Hmm.
And then they revealed it so quickly, like they didn't drag it out. They
Uh-huh.
had a conversation about it. I thought that was like doled out really well throughout the movie.
Yeah, and I agree with you about the fact that they didn't make the wheelchair a thing. In fact, they made it really romantic with
Yeah,
that the view's better from down here, and when they're walking, I mean when they're strolling together, that was really sweet. And
yeah,
uh he I don't know, I just thought they almost made it into a way to make it more romantic as opposed to being like this thing that she's overcome or whatever. So I appreciated that.
yeah.
It was my favorite. What was your favorite?
My favorite was Happy Season. Um,
Okay.
and actually made it into like the top 20 of my favorite movies of the year as well.
Huh?
I really loved it. Kristen Stewart is one of my favorite actresses. I
Mm,
think she's probably the best American actress of her generation, and it was so nice to see her in a comedy. Because
mm,
the only thing I think close to this comedy wise is like American Ultra, which is
mm-hmm.
kind of a different thing entirely.
Right.
But I love the message of this. I love that Clea Duvall got to kind of write and direct something so personal to her after kind of being in this industry for quite a while
Mm-hmm.
and kind of getting to do this is like I just love seeing people that I grew up kind of watching and getting to kind of do the thing that they love,
Yeah.
and putting their story on screen. Um, I felt a lot of sympathy for Harper. Um, I mean, the cast is unbelievable. Like, I feel like this is just going to be on rotation for me every year. You know, it's not without its faults. I think Abby and Harper could have done with a little bit more screen time at the beginning of the movie to kind of feel
Hmm.
like you were rooting for them a little bit more. I felt like a lot was kind of put on Dan Levy's character to kind of get Hart. But I mean, I suppose that the big fault is that you see everything from Abby's point of view, and you're not seeing anything from Harper. So it's hard to sympathise with someone that you're not kind of seeing things from their point of view. You're kind of having to
Yeah, that's
make
true.
up your own narrative, of what's going on, and kind of do a lot of thinking behind the scenes. But yeah, I really loved it. I really wish I'd gotten to see it in the cinema. Yeah, just this year, I suppose.
Yeah. I did enjoy it. I gave it a positive review. I
Mhm.
thought it was just genuinely funny. And a lot of times these sort of family shenanigans Christmas movies aren't my favorite. But
Yeah,
I thought that this genuinely made me laugh multiple times. Mary Steenburgen was so funny in the movie.
yeah,
I thought
she's the best.
yeah, she was the best. And I think that people would I think that people would like Harper more if they had cast younger than they did. Not that
Hmm.
there was anything necessarily wrong with Mackenzie Davis's performance. I just think that it's more we are more understanding of somebody that would be making her partner do what she makes her do, if she's an immature 18-year-old
Hmm.
versus a person in their 30s making their partner do this. It just seems less understandable.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so I think that that would have been better, but nevertheless, it's definitely very, very sweet, and it has its heart completely in the right place. It was made with love, and I think that that wins the day in the end. And like I said, it did make me laugh quite a bit. So I
yeah.
can see why it would be your favorite. So let's go over our list real quick. So I have at number 10, The Christmas Aunt. Then number 9, The Christmas Sitters. And number 8, I have A Welcome Home Christmas. Number 7, Princess Switch, Switched Again. Number 6, The Forgotten Carols. Number 5, Sugar and Spice Holiday. Number 4, The Christmas Setup. Number 3, The Christmas Spectacular, with the Radio City Rockettes. Number 2, Angela's Christmas Wish. And number 1, Christmas Ever After.
Okay, so my number 10 is Midnight at the Magnolia. Number 9, A Welcome Home Christmas. Number 8, Operation Christmas Drop. Number 7, Christmas on the Square. Number 6, A Sugar and Spice Holiday. Number 5, Christmas Ever After. Number 4, Christmas Setup. Number 3, Holiday. Number 4, Roll and Beatrix. And number 1 is Happy Season.
Number 1. Yeah, awesome. All right, great. Well, let us know your favorites if you're listening. What would be your top 10 and what you think of our picks? Love to hear it in the comment section or on Twitter. Please let us know. And Michelle, how can people find you on social media and all that fun stuff?
On Twitter at Michelle R. Benson.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. And make sure you're following the podcast to Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave us your ratings and reviews. We really need that going into this new year. So we really appreciate it. And if you're listening on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate that so much. And we have our patron group, like we said, where we're going to be having the watch along with Natalie Hall. So make sure to sign up now. It's only $2 a month. You can't miss. And then we also have our merch store, which has tons of fun designs. So check that out. So thanks so much. And we will talk to you all later. Merry Christmas. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.